Save the NHS for about the 40th time in the last 80 years that I've been doing stand-up comedy, but we don't give up. Oh, I'm being heckled by Big Ben and the microphone. Oh, it's factionalising now, that's the anarchist stand-up comedy. I guess there's a lot of the Dem voters in the country at the moment looking back fondly on the days when theirs was simply a wasted vote. Earlier this year, David Cameron said that he loves the NHS, in which case I've got a warning for Samantha Cameron. He's planning to sell off your most valuable bits to the private sector. That's basically all I wanted to say, except I wanted to try and figure out this quantitative easing thing a bit. Last week, the Bank of England started to put $75 billion into the economy of imaginary electronic money via the banks. Now, I reckon there's about 60 million people in this country. According to police estimates, it's 250,000. There's about 60 million people in this country, 75 billion pounds. A billion is a million. They can afford to give everybody in this country £1 million each directly. I suggest that we insist that rather than putting it into the economy through the banks, they give it directly to us. Their debts, buy a house, get a home. The only people who would suffer would be the bankers, because no one would need to borrow any money, and we would be in a position to lend money to the bankers. But only under our conditions. Sort out third world debt through micro-green ecology products, and then fuck off to the Mediterranean to your yachts, where we will blow you up with our ecologically friendly non-nuclear submarine fleet. We can dream, ladies and gentlemen, and we can make it real. Thank you very much for supporting this. One, two, three.
Alright, that sound good.
Another round of applause for our next victim. Yeah, why not?
Hello guys. Well, basically I'm not affiliated to any of these fellows over here, but we just had a discussion over there, and what we've resolved from that is at 4 o'clock, anybody who wants to march to Parliament Square meets at that end of the bridge, down there, and we're going to separate on two different marches. South end of the bridge, we're going to go to Parliament Square, we're going to hold a demonstration out there. Anybody who wants to join, meet at that end of the bridge, south end, 4 o'clock where a big bell rings, and then we'll set off from there, just so you know.
This is a new guy, he's an up-and-comer. Thought we'd give him a chance. Mr. Mark Thomas, ladies and gentlemen. Much for cycling. Well, brilliant, fantastic that everyone's here, fantastic the bridge has got fantastic. This is the best gig I've ever done. This is great. And thank you for Chris for organising this all. So, listen, a little while ago I did this thing called the Manifesto, where I went around the country asking people to come up with policies to make Britain a better place, to improve the world, or just annoy their neighbours. And people would write down their ideas, their policies, and each gig we would vote on them, we'd discuss them, and we would create a policy for every single manifesto that we toured around the countryside. And we came up with a whole load of suggestions called the Manifesto. In the Manifesto, there's a weird thing, if you're a comic and you're on the left, the critics always assume that you preach to the converted. And they always go, that's what you do, you just preach to the converted. I want to tell you that is not true, because every single gig I did, someone put in a policy suggestion for bring back hanging. just hang them. Every gig, bring back hanging, kill them. For things like people who don't clean up after their dog shit, hang them. It got to the point where I just thought, no, we should bring back hanging, but do it on a voluntary basis. So if you're in favour of hanging, you sign up to a register, and then you say, I approve of the death penalty, and then if you fuck up, we will kill you. Suddenly you found out that actually people who you thought might be kind of, quite staid, were in fact quite radical folk. I went to Bath, and in Bath I picked the first policy suggestion off the pipe, and it read, bring back hanging. I know. But then they said, hang a banker every day of the year. But the rigour. It's every day of the year, don't take a weekend off, two for bank holidays. And then underneath it said, and compulsory allotments for everyone. And I thought, essentially, this is the Daily Mail. Bring back hanging and gardening. So, and then this is completely true. The second policy suggestion off the pile was, bring back stoning for hedge fund managers. My attention was bring back. I've obviously underestimated Bath by quite some considerable estimation. You get all sorts of suggestions that are put forward to improve our lives. Some of them, one of them was that everything in supermarkets should be stacked in alphabetical order. Which I quite like, and I went up to the bloke who suggested this after the gig and just went, this is a great idea, this is fantastic, it's really funny. He goes, no, it's not, it's serious. Another one was that the fattier the food, the thinner the aisle. There's a lovely one from Hull. Hull, their policy was we should be able to take fashion designers outside and bash them into the shape they think we're in. Then the Tricycle Theatre in London, they came up with a policy of models should be chosen at random from the electoral register. Of what is erotic and about age and about sex and gender. It challenges all of that, and that means if you're an advertiser, you cannot say I want a small woman with large breasts or anything like that in my advert. You just say I want a model. And then we go through the electoral register process, pick someone at random. And what we do then is whoever is the model will be informed of their job in the same way that we tell people about jury service. So people like my dad will be suddenly opening up an envelope at breakfast going, oh fuck, I'm doing Calvin Klein. So they have this whole load of suggestions that are put forward, and we put it in the book. There's lovely little... one of my favourite ones was that we should have a gamble button on all ATM machines. Just, if you didn't have enough money in the account, then boom, and you'd see, give it a go. There was nice ones that anyone found guilty of a homophobic hate crime should be forced to serve their entire sentence in drag. National Party and the EDL should be forced to trace and publish their family ancestry. So there's a whole load of really amazing suggestions. One of my favourite ones that came up time and time again was that we should renationalise the railway system. Railway companies, and where do you get most out? This is the weird thing. I used to think the revolution in this country will take place on a railway platform because that is where you see most anger. Seriously, I promise you, I have stood on a railway platform and seen a grown man shout the words, "You fucking liar!" system. And British people are normally quite reserved, they're quite sort of like, you know, a bit embarrassed at these kind of things. That man got a round of applause from everyone. The only person who didn't clap was my wife, who looked embarrassed and walked away. The other, there was a lovely, one of my favourite ones was that the police should have badges that say, "How am I policing?" I think that'd be a very nice one. I mean, you know, because then you could have a number you could phone up and you just go illegally. You know, you could. I think the nice thing about giving the police a badge with "How am I policing" is that if we can get them to wear that, then at least we might be able to get them to show the numbers. Yeah. It might just be a way forward. I was going to read you a couple of these out. We had a lovely, do you know, this was quite a nice one. In Slough, they voted that Windsor should be renamed Lower Slough. I said to the bloke afterwards, that's a great idea. He goes, no, it's not funny, this is righteous class anger. I said, okay. He said, what it is Slough, their postcode is SL, and Windsor and Maidenhead, their postcode is SL2. Right? Windsor and Maidenhead are very annoyed they share the postcode with Slough. They don't like the SL of Slough being their postcode, and we know this because they ran a campaign to change the postcode of Windsor and Maidenhead to WM from the SL of Slough. They said that the SL of Slough was causing Windsor and Maidenhead to actually, well, it was affecting property prices and definitely attracting the wrong sorts to the area, according to the campaign. Slough responds by going, bollocks. You're Lower Slough. And I like that. We can make that happen because language is what we use it for. Language is what we use. That's what it is. So if we decide Windsor doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. From now on in, if you've got to send a postcard or a letter or a package to anyone in that area, you address it to Lower Slough. To visit Lower Slough Castle. Because sometimes Elizabeth Lower Slough is actually in the building. And the nice thing about it is if you look on the map, you've got Eton, so you've got Slough at the top, then you've got Lower Slough, formerly known as Windsor at the bottom, and in the middle is Eton. Eton is Slough Central. To read out to you. One of them is policy number 22 that was voted through, and it reads, well, I can quickly find it for you, it reads, politicians should have to wear tabards displaying the names and logos of the companies with whom they have a financial relationship, like a racing. I just wanted to put forward an amendment to cover personal friends and best men. So we'd include Liam Fox on that. The other policy that came through is policy number 29. Private health companies that use NHS-trained staff, doctors, nurses and clinicians should pay a levy to reimburse the NHS for the training costs and help with training in the future. The attack on the NHS is an asset strip for assets that we have paid for. This is a hit and run raid. This is a grab by the private companies of the cash which we are forking up for the rich one more time. And we should not stand for this. I just want to read you the first bit of this policy because I thought it was apposite of today. And it says, private medicine is fundamentally un-British, as the only reason to use it is to jump the queue. And that is our ability as a nation to queue. It is what distinguishes us from the French. Therefore, there is no greater social gaucherie or display of ill breeding than going private. It is based upon the ability to push to the front, shouting the words, "Let me through because I have money." And that is what private medicine's about. The clock agrees with me.
If you're not tweeting about this, please do. Please take pictures, tweet. Let everyone know that we are blocking the bridge. Let your entire Twitter feed know, because the press are not going to report on this unless we talk about it. If we don't talk about it, the press are just going to tell everyone that fucking Paul McCartney got married today. So let's make sure that they know that we're here and we're having a good time. In the meantime, let's bring Lee Gregg on. An absolutely fantastic comment. You're going to love her. Can we get some applause from this side?